Imagine being impossible to rattle. Imagine for a second, someone cuts you off in traffic and starts screaming. A colleague at work makes a snide comment about your project in front of everyone. A loved one ignores your request or intentionally provokes an argument. Usually in that moment, a hot wave boils up inside you. Your heart beats faster, your fists clench, and your mind is already crafting a poisonous comeback. But now, imagine a different scenario. You look at this person, you hear their words, but inside, there is absolute silence, no anger, no resentment, just calm observation, like watching rain hit a window. Why do some people explode at a single sideways glance, while others remain unshakable, even when the world around them is crumbling? Today, I'm not going to teach you how to endure or suppress your rage. I'm going to show you an ancient Stoic methodology that will make you emotionally untouchable. We will break down the tools that will turn your psyche into an impenetrable fortress. You will realize the problem isn't the people who annoy you. The problem is how you interpret them. And that is the best news you'll hear today, because your interpretation is the one thing you can change right now. Why are we so easily triggered? Let's be honest. We live in a state of constant emotional dependency. We allow total strangers, a random commenter on the internet, or a musician at the store to dictate our mood. One sour look can ruin our entire evening. Why does this happen? We've grown accustomed to thinking that anger is a natural reaction to bad behavior from others. But the Stoics look deeper. Anger is always the result of a collision between our rigid expectations and reality. We have internally constructed an unspoken code of rules for how others should live. People should be polite. Drivers should follow the rules. Friends should support me. When someone violates this fragile internal statute, we feel insulted. We believe the world owes it to us to match our expectations. But here's the bitter truth. The world owes you nothing. People will be selfish, ignorant, rude, or simply careless. This is a fact of nature, just like gravity or the weather. You don't get angry at the rain for being wet, do you? So why get angry at a person for acting according to their character? Your irritation is not the action of another person. It is your judgment of their action. Control and the illusion of control. The foundation of all Stoic philosophy rests on one simple question. Is this within my power? Epictetus, a great Stoic who was born a slave, taught that all things in the world fall into two categories. The first is what we control, our thoughts, intentions, desires, and our own reactions. The second is everything else. The weather, the economy, traffic, and most importantly, the opinions and actions of other people. Your suffering begins the exact moment you try to control the uncontrollable. When you want to be loved, respected, or understood by everyone, you voluntarily hand over the keys to your happiness to someone else. You become a slave to circumstances. Peace begins with accepting the limits of your power. Once you realize that other people's words or character are outside your zone of influence, you gain incredible freedom. The key Stoic formula is, this is outside my control, therefore it is not my concern. If someone chooses to be rude, that is their choice and their flaw. It has nothing to do with you unless you decide to make it your problem. Solution 1. Change the interpretation. Remember this vital truth. No event in the world has an inherent color. It is neutral. Death, birth, losing a job, an insult. These are just facts. We are the ones who give them meaning, pain, or joy through our judgment. When someone criticizes you, apply the pause technique. Before letting emotion take over, ask yourself, is this a fact or my interpretation? If someone says you made a mistake in a report and it's true, why be angry? It's just a fact to be corrected. If it's a lie, why be angry? A lie has nothing to do with who you actually are. Often behind the aggression of others lies not strength, but their own pain, fear, or deep insecurity. When someone screams at you, Imagine you are looking at a small child who hasn't learned how to handle their emotions. You wouldn't get into a serious, heated argument with a 3-year-old, would you? By changing the meaning of a situation, you instantly change your emotion. If you see an insult as a blow to your dignity, it hurts. If you see it as meaningless noise from a miserable person, you become indifferent. You cannot be hurt if you do not give your consent to be hurt. Solution 2. Kill your expectations. We are the architects of our own disappointments. We leave the house expecting the day to go smoothly, people to be logical, and technology to work perfectly. When reality fails, we fly into a rage. The Stoics practiced the opposite, the premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Instead of hoping for a perfect day, they mentally rehearsed everything that could go wrong. Marcus Aurelius told himself every morning, "Today I shall meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, and treacherous." This isn't pessimism. It's strategic realism. If you pre-accept that people can act foolishly or unfairly, their behavior ceases to be a shock. You are ready for it. The fewer expectations you have of others, the less power they have to disappoint you. When you stop demanding perfection from the world, you begin to treat human flaws with irony, or even compassion. Solution 3. Emotional distance. In the modern world, we are constantly invited to battles, in comment sections, in family disputes, in workplace conflicts. But here's the secret. You are not obligated to accept every invitation. Think of your emotions as capital. Would you throw money out the window every time someone shouted something mean at you? Probably not. So why are you so quick to throw away your mental peace? Learn to take a mental step back. When a situation heats up, look at it from the outside, like an observer or a scientist studying the behavior of a strange animal species. Oh, look at that. This specimen is trying to provoke me to feel significant. What an interesting reaction. This distance creates a buffer between the stimulus and your response. The less you are involved in someone else's drama, the more energy you have for your own goals. Your identity does not depend on what a passerby thinks of you. You are what you do and how you think, not how you are reflected by others. Stoicism is not suppressing emotions. It's important to clarify one thing here. Many people mistake Stoicism for emotional coldness or being heartless. This is a dangerous misconception. Being a Stoic doesn't mean turning into a robot or burying your feelings deep inside. On the contrary, suppressed emotions are a ticking time bomb. They will eventually explode, as illness or a nervous breakdown. Stoicism is not about not feeling. It is about understanding your feelings and choosing your reaction to them. True strength isn't about gritting your teeth and taking an insult. True strength is analyzing the insult and realizing it is logically meaningless. Awareness is more important than suppression. A Stoic feels the initial impulse, the sting of anger or fear, but they do not let that impulse turn into an action. We manage our feelings through reason, not through bans. How to apply this daily? Philosophy without practice is just pretty words. To become unshakable, you need training. 1. Morning setup. Start your day by acknowledging the world is imperfect. Tell yourself, I will encounter difficulties and unpleasant people today. It's part of the game. My job is to keep my internal compass steady. 2. The 10-second rule. In any conflict, pause. Just count to 10. During this time, your brain shifts from the emotional limbic system to the rational prefrontal cortex. 3. Evening review. Before bed, look back at moments where you lost your cool. Don't beat yourself up. Just ask, what exactly triggered me? Which of my expectations was violated? How can I respond better next time? 4. Keep notes. Write down your main triggers. When you know your enemy's face, they lose their power over you. Regular practice will eventually build an automatic immunity to negativity. Things that used to take you out for a week will be forgotten in 5 minutes. Conclusion. True freedom. Ultimately, Stoicism is the path to true freedom. Most people mistakenly think that freedom is the ability to control others, have a lot of money or hold power, but that is an illusion. True freedom is the control over oneself. The world around you will not get softer, people will not stop being difficult, and circumstances will not stop being harsh. But you can become more resilient. You can become the cliff that the waves break against. When you are impossible to bother, you gain a superpower. You become dangerously calm. People will try to manipulate you and provoke you, but they will be powerless because you no longer give them authority over your state of mind. You choose how to feel, and that is the highest form of human mastery. Now I want to ask you, what is the one thing or the one phrase that most often gets under your skin? What makes you lose control instantly? Write it down in the comments. Sometimes, simply acknowledging your trigger is the first step toward disarming it. If you resonate with Stoic philosophy and want more practical tools for building a strong character, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Get stronger every day. See you in the next video.